Hey, lovely people, and welcome back to another episode of Confidence and Cappuccino with me, Neffy. This is our cozy corner where we sip coffee, share stories, and build confidence together, one chat at a time. Now, last week we were talking about why you don't need a lottery to live your dream life, and this week I want to zoom in even further because here's the truth. Confidence, freedom, success, whatever you're aiming for, it's rarely built in one big leap. It's built in these tiny, often very unglamorous little wins. So today we're talking about the power of tiny wins. How those small victories, the one nobody claps for, the ones you might not even notice, are secretly building the blocks of your confidence. Let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I had this big vision for my life, and I'd look at it and think, how on earth am I ever going to get there? It felt like standing at the bottom of a huge mountain and staring at the peak. I'd start, get overwhelmed, and then quit. Start again, quit again. Does that sound familiar? Then one day I said, okay, let me stop trying to climb the whole mountain in one go. Let me just celebrate the tiniest little step. So I started ridiculously small. I literally say to myself, well done, Neffy. You drank a glass of water before coffee this morning. Or, well done, Neffy. You finally answered that email that's been sitting in draft for 3 days. And here's what happened. Each little win gave me that spark of energy, a small hit of, I can do this. Confidence didn't come from the mountaintop. It came from each tiny brick I stacked along the way. Why tiny wins matter? So our brains love completion. Have you ever written something on your to-do list that you've already done just so you can tick it off? Don't lie, we've all done it, and it feels so good. That's dopamine. Every time you complete a task, no matter how small, your brain rewards you. And the more often you collect those wins, the more your brain starts to believe, hey, I can trust myself. I follow through. I get things done. That's confidence. It's self-trust in action. Sometimes my tiny win is just folding the laundry instead of living out of the clean pile on the chair. You know the one. Don't look at me like that. I know you've got a chair too. How tiny wins build confidence. Here's a secret. Confidence is a muscle, and every tiny win is like a rep at the gym. If you keep your promises to yourself in the small things, your brain goes, I can trust myself with the big things too. So, if you tell yourself, I'm going to write one sentence in my journal tonight, and you do it, boom, that's a win. If you promise yourself, I'll do one push-up before bed, and you do it, boom, that's another win. These wins are tiny, but they add up. And the more you stack them, the stronger your self-belief becomes. I once had a tiny win that literally changed my whole day. I made my bed before 10 a.m. That was it. But every time I walked past the bedroom, I felt like Oprah. Yes, look at me, a grown woman who made a bed, thriving. It's silly, but it worked. Turning tiny wins into a habit. So, how do we make tiny wins part of daily life? Here are 3 simple ways. 1. Start ridiculously small, like almost laughably small. 1 push-up, one glass of water, one paragraph. You can't fail if the bar is that low. 2. Celebrate out loud. I literally say, "Yes, Neffy, you did that," after sending an email or going for a walk. It feels silly, but it trains your brain to notice wins. And 3, write them down. Keep a little tiny wins journal. At the end of the week, you look back and go, wow, I actually did so much. One of my listeners told me she started writing down her tiny wins on a sticky note and putting them in a jar. At the end of the month, she opens the jar and reads them. Can you imagine the confidence boost that gives you? Real life inspiration. I have a friend who wanted to get fitter but hated the gym. So she set herself one tiny goal: walk around the block at lunchtime. That's it. At first, it didn't look like much, but over time, that little walk turned into longer walks, then jogs, then runs. 6 months later, she ran her first 5K. She didn't start with confidence. She built it, one tiny lap at a time. And listen, sometimes a tiny win is just choosing not to scroll TikTok or Instagram or YouTube in bed for an hour. If you've managed to put your phone down before midnight, baby, that's championship level right there. Summing up, here's what I want you to take away today. Confidence doesn't drop out of the sky. It doesn't arrive in one big dramatic moment. Confidence grows in the quiet wins nobody else sees. The glass of water, the folded laundry, the scary email, the one push-up, the bedtime without TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, you fill in the blank. Each one is a brick, and when you stack them, you're building a strong, confident foundation for your dream life. Thank you so much for joining me for today's coffee chat. I hope this reminds you that you're already winning more than you think. This week, I challenge you to notice your tiny wins. Write them down, say them out loud, celebrate them, even if they seem silly. And if you'd like to share your tiny wins with me, come along and hang out with me at neffywellness.com or tag me on socials. I love to cheer you on. Until next time, my lovelies, keep sipping, keep shining, and keep stacking those tiny wins. I'm Neffy, and this was Confidence and Cappuccino. Bye!